They're raising the flag at Monte Carlo. Well, the only circuit on the course where they only allow 18 cars to the usual 21 too, you know. 16 they cut it down to, in fact, as I recall. For 1 year at least. That's right, the last big engine, 60. Even though it's true, struggling manfully, but really bitter in a way, like to show off his resentment, as it were, is the fact that Phil Hill more manfully wrought than he ought the last of the front-engine Ferrari in the 61, as I say. But he managed to finish 8th on that tight course anyway, 1.9 miles. Here they come then, down through the chicane, out of the harbor tunnel, and down to the longest straight along the harbor, of course, which is still only 5/8 of a mile, as I recall now. Again, the transmission of a 27 Buick into second gear around a corner at 34th and Dearborn, or was it Clark? Somewhere along there. Now, the trouble with Jack was he knew that when he threw the dang thing through the jewelry store window, he'd better get... Uh-oh, say, what if that gearbox... Well, no what if, son. We're going to pause one more time. And remember, you've only got 20 seconds to grab them and run. Well, I knew that wasn't quite what my cousin John ought to... So I said, no. I say, well, run what? Drive the meter? No, man. This is what they call the Tiffany Biffany. Balboa. And miles ahead again. Miles below. Miles to go. But Goshen. What a notion. What do they mean by notions? 5 and 10 notions. In a 5 and dime store, dime grind. One more time. So I took the transmission out of that Essex. I mean, boy, I mean, he was how many stars? 921. That's how many cars been made since the beginning. But I know the one that rhymes with it too, that Essex. It's the muleback Essex. It's a tailgate. That's what I was trying to think all the time. So what it was duck. No, it was a turtle. That's the word. Turtleback ethics. The ethics of ethics, the Lord of. Oh, not. Isn't that interesting? Not only we're given the grace of, like, say, an ascetic, but we can go 20 times faster. I like exceeding 7 times the speed limit. Better not begin at 30, 30, 20, 20, why even 10? That's 70. So we take 5, 35, 10, 70. That was it, the 1070 Dodge Brother Imperial address. Good Lord, those Greeks confusing the Romans again. I'll take Diocletian 254 or something. Diocletian. I'll take 336 in Constantinople. The great Constantine. Isn't it interesting how we have these periods in history like Buddhists and Mohammedans and all contemporary in history at the same time? 333. Oh, I said specie. Alexander. The coppersmith, that's what Dad said in the, actually Romans 12:12. I suppose no, it wouldn't be that dolphin. But the Romans and the Greeks, well, they couldn't even go 35, except when the fastest horse for only shortest stretch is 36, something like that, I guess. Wives drive 36 miles, to mention the word, to work every morning from to Kimball, Nebraska. From, yeah, above in there, you know, the town, of course, doesn't matter much because it was up in Lemon, not Lyman in the south, but, oh, gosh, good old Granny. Well, she had a son, his brother-in-law, something bloody. He wasn't bloody, but I mean his car was. It was a side-by-side, 36 miles, 6 a.m., straight north every morning. Finest thing, I was driving at the time. Actually, you know what? I was driving a 35 Ford that I had, yeah, so we'll go into that some other time, but that's why I always liked in the parking lot those backward doors. Wrong line. Spin and get out. Pikes Peak climb. 14,201? No. 14,069, something along that line. But the actual course is 13,611, as I recall. That's right. Almost 3 miles. Now, I've climbed that mountain many times myself. Not as many as Buffalo Bill's lookout. But, mostly 63% of outside hairpin curves is over the shelf, you know what I mean. You can't make your time cutting off them corners without making a straighter line. So, going wrong this curve, set up for that. Right. Unless, well, like a flat, or suspension change, or too much gas even, sensitive. That's what it was. 38th and Galapagos underpass. That truck came through there, and I heard this scraping. You know what it was. 10-8, and he was 11 foot clearance. So I dropped my garden hose, 5-gallon can. Last time ever siphoned any gas until I was somewhere up in the snow country, as I recall now, sliding down cold and hell. I mean, I freeze on a going down to I couldn't get that thing out of gear. If I didn't do that right away, I know more than that. It freezed my ass. But the worst of it was, in fact, the way I learned I was colorblind was, as youngsters will do, out there on the grass and all. To me, it looked red, and I was so mad at that grass, I learned cars. Why, that old Buick? In fact, by that time, I know I couldn't get the stamp, the certificate. So I think I was only 13, I was. Hitchhiked into 39, that's right, Kansas, and stole a pair of plates. Hitchhiking back, hot day and all, the sheriff of local town said, "What you got under your vest there, boy?" And I said, "Well, that's just my chest there. The vest and the chest weren't right. No, 8 days." So, Buick's gone. Reminds me later on the Model A. Didn't have brake one on it, no. You know what I did? Over at the floorboard, I nailed the pedal on it, nailed. I used to hit curbs like when I was on my first job with bicycles, bouncing off because it was a single, no brakes on it. I'd hit cars, bounce between them, throw my feet out, just like you throw out the feet to guide yourself on the rocks. And man, I tell you, sliding right through, real straight. The Model A. Well, I always had to stop going into something, but bouncing off curbs, nothing to it. But you know what really amounted to? I found out that you could throw into reverse anything under 10 miles an hour. Yeah, that transmission, nothing like the Essex. Why, that 27 Buick, just like the Essex, straight 6 it was. I lived on the streets in L.A., right there on Wilshire. Same place like I go today, almost, by 7th and up at 2561, something like that. 2532, you know, auditorium there, universal guidance. Drive better in there without even taking your eye off the hemisphere, the unisphere in New York back there. You know who actually designed that? That's true. Same guy that set it up, I'd say. And I don't mean the other one, but you know his first name, too. That's who it was, the guy who went to the World's Fair, 65. Robert Moses. And U.S. Steel put it up. 73 today, I suppose he is. I don't mean steel, cyclone, and hurricane force winds later on today. Now you come over here, Missy Lou, I say. The nose behind. It's going up that grind. The grapevine all the way out of L.A. I was on Figueroa at the time, right out of that tunnel. That's the first time I ever bought a gross condoms. I was so excited, I made him say, actually, you know what it was? The other fella bet me $10 it was a man. You're out of your mind. Yep. She ran across the street new. I swear, just like she was born, she ran. Well, at least that isn't how it began, but husband's little Filipino. She's big, tall, natural blonde, kind of redhead, you know, kind of that sparkling, like sort of like you might take a Ann Sheridan, a little too dark, but a little lighter on. Like actually, the falseness of Rita Hayworth as a redhead, that sort of a sheen. Boom, nice and clean. But anyways, almost anything's better than being judged by Roy Bean. I was given to understand there were lying tree, you know, you can hang from any tree. But right now, you're hanging on this one with me. Climb that tree faster than you can skin the cat. Well, now, wait a minute. Now, something else there. I didn't want to say it quite that way, but when you got a cat skin named Disaster, Missy Lou don't know just quite what to do. Now, the D8. 9. And the biggest of the commercial line, D12. Twin 6s. I'd rather have that than a V16. It's make too much of that. Well, I don't mean to say stand there. 196 is going when it took off there in a Sands Daytona that day. About, oh, yeah, certainly 7:11 before 10, I'd say. 9, right? 196. Mistake that Fitzgerald would seem to be concerned about, and I mean F. Scott. The stupidity of a lost scene is the stupidities of in between. Now, you heard that finger come down on that string there. There was changing the in between. So 12, 9. And then there's a little D6 too, but 8's the most popular one. Handle anything. The most versatile range, like the 3rd gearbox on International. 25 to 40. Actually, it's when. And 5 miles faster with a new motor. Capital ship for an ocean trip with a 27 Buick 8. No, wind that blew, dismayed. Well, now wait a minute, that side curtain too. Wind all the time. You couldn't tell anything, but hardly even tell what's behind. Actually, I'll confess, a grind. By going down again, hardly even mattered what was behind. Because when you go over past like Berthoud, rabbit ears and all, with only second and third, first and second, without only with low and high, you know how that second gear needs it. I tell you, 27 Essex, no transmission, nothing there on LA. That's what I say. On LA Street one day, same time I had a 37 Dodge. During the war, well, I was about 43, I'd say. I sold it because of the tires. Now, that sort of thing one doesn't want to do ahead, like cross a bridge, plan for it too, like whether whoever's at it, Cincinnati's, Heredity's, or other. But the roadblocks, now that's something else. Don't go on the wrong side of the bridge railing. That is, of course, an issue is, really wailing. Well, in fact, the first thing I did, going toward Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak, same rail. I hardly know, of course, that, who's to say that on the first curve, first stop sign went a half block through? Fur. Too fur. But I didn't go too far, I went too fast, was it? You know what happened right there? That's true. Right front wheel came off. Well, what are you gonna do? At that point, all you can do is blast. So you see right then, it don't matter much whether you're doing this, choosing this side of the curve or that side of the curve. You got to go on the other side of that railing, or else, now I mean to tell you the truth, smash them, blast the smashers. Because it can be chassis. Well, after a curlicue or two around in the orchard there, you know, that was the second post, the bastion and all to be missed, but the cloud of dust, I'm telling you, it raised more than a quarter mile. But actually, I felt more sheepish, you know, my face was red as well. Talk about crimson. I never did approve of red, Ferrari red especially. But now I've been modified into the flaming orange there, because I see there's nothing much there. It's a natural condition anyway. Unless you go on the wrong side of the railing of the bridge, either when the wrong time comes, or at least in that day, whatever's in the way is gonna join you. They ain't fighting against you. Remember that, son. All they can do is make you look sheepish, unless, of course, you feel a little something else kind of creepish, and I don't mean like they say on the railroad, what you got one. Always tell by the fear in the belly how limits your jaw. Brethren, Fernando's hideaway. Indeed, Fernando's fright away. Ain't no spade drivers out there, I say. Ain't even anybody but them mad like Mexicans. They're all heart and cock, those boys. But it's a result of the thinking, not being afraid. Why, there's no spade or even economic. I don't know what I mean to say, but there ain't many suicides out of those boys anyways. Why? My brethren, bearing you bangies, today as well as Aborigines along the way, these drums are gonna tighten up sums, and we get the kettle head just about the right way. Brethren, we've gathered here today, pow-pow, as the pilot, 42 it was, I'd say. It wasn't 43 at all, because I had 7 pairs of shoes, and I can still recall. No tires, but them shoes. Brethren, today, the music will take over most of the way. And has been. Now, well, for the first time, I'll start listening to it. I'm going to tell you something about them Arabian slave traders anyway. The air-conditioned Cadillacs and say, Yemen, all that mess. And I don't mean just pork, white or otherwise. Like lightning cone liquor, all right. That sour man. What we need is more of that Tennessee Jack Daniels, you know. Something that, first time you've been seduced by an Italian. Or is it E? My first jealousy, 15 anyway. He opened the package upside down, dead camels. Man, it even impressed me. But I didn't know why. I'd never think that way, you see. But the first time I noticed, because, well, I tell you, it was my first wife. They were out for another night or two, and no, by coincidence, we happened to choose the same cabin that night's what it was, now I recall. Something like that. But anyway, it doesn't quite that way. But that's true. She had to serve a term in court, you know, make an appearance or so, and the parents come along and say they didn't know. And but I didn't think that they did. The one I was with, you know, we'd sing, I'm in love with you, honey. Honey, no, honey, no, money, no, money. Now, how can you have a sign like money all dolled up with anything but the right color to it? Honey, no, honey, no, money, no, money. Now, how can you have a sign like money all dolled up with anything but the right color to it?
A head-on collision of Seconal and Lush, and Neal Cassady was dead. Ironic that the fastest man alive should perish of bad brakes. Yet on some sacred salt flat his effigy keeps driving round and round, while the ashes of his mind report to Action Central 400 years packed into 40 fast ones. I deny cremation. Neal Cassady is alive in San Diego, incarnate in a tortoise egg.